In the days when we constantly wash our hands to disinfect, it is not bad to know that 155 years ago, a doctor was sent to a psychiatric hospital for this discovery. Ignaz Philipp Semmelweis was born in Buda, Hungary in the 19th century. He demonstrated that disinfectants could decrease puerperal fever occurrence. He is also well known as the father of infection control and savior of mothers. But this discovery didn't bring fortune for him. Welcome to another Cracked History Facts video. Interestingly, in the 19th century, when a Hungarian physician named Dr. Ignaz Semmelweis, who was the first person to discover the medical advantages of hand washing specifically to reduce infection, no one took him seriously. Even doctors laughed at him or made fun of him. Of course, this was not the first time that the value of knowledge has been ignored. After obtaining his medical grade in 1844, Semmelweis finished a master's degree in midwifery and received training in surgical techniques at the Vienna General Hospital in Vienna. He worked at a midwifery clinic at Vienna General Hospital. He was amazed to see that mothers who gave birth at the clinic died more than mothers who gave birth at home. These mothers were struggling with puerperal fever or childbed fever, and after a few days, they died. He was really overwhelmed by these deaths and started an investigation. There is a quote from him that he mentioned that the deaths of the patients made him so miserable that life seemed worthless to him. He had been researching and receiving problems from doctors for a long time. He found out that while they were moving between the operating room and going to the babies, more mothers would die. But how? At first, his coworkers thought that he aimed to question their practices, but then he revealed the secret. The infection was spread out of the hands of the same doctors. So he asked them to wash their hands with lemon juice and chlorine solution repeatedly and patiently. Still, other doctors ridiculed him and said that there was no connection between their hands and the mother's death and accused him of contaminated hands. They became angry and said they were totally clean. Semmelweis discovered that the cases of puerperal fever, a form of septicemia, could be eliminated drastically if doctors washed their hands in a chlorine and lemon solution before gynecological examinations. Semmelweis' investigation and discovery contradicted the conventional scientific and medical opinions of that time. The theory of disorders was highly impacted by ideas of an imbalance of the basic four humors in the body, an approach known as dyscrasia, for which the main remedy was bloodletting. His results also ran against the established wisdom that illness spread in the form of bad air. While Ignaz Semmelweis did not consider ordinary washing enough and actually wanted to say disinfect your hands, not wash your hands. But science was not yet familiar with this phenomenon. Eventually, the doctors got tired of his insistence. They complained about Ignaz Semmelweis' sensitivity to hand washing, thinking he was suffering from obsessive-compulsive disorder. They were taken to a psychiatric hospital. The exact date of his big discovery in the world of infection science was March 20th, 1847, and he had not worked for years to persuade others to leave the hospital. He did not sit idle there either, describing the doctors who gave birth without disinfecting their hands as the perpetrators of the mother's murder. It was a pity that he did not see the day that doctors in the same hospital washed their hands the way he wanted and saw that maternal mortality was lower and lower and eventually reached zero. Ignaz Semmelweis, of course, only talked about hand washing and did not mention infections and germs until Louis Pasteur proposed a microbial theory of disease, and Joseph Lister began working on microbiology. Years later, when the need for disinfection and hand washing and disinfection of the environment became a matter, of course, in all hospitals around the world, the name Ignaz Semmelweis was recorded from another perspective, the Semmelweis effect, or Semmelweis reflex, as a term for the reflex-like tendency to reject new proof or evidence or knowledge because of its contradiction with established beliefs, paradigms, and norms. Thank you for watching. Feel free to check out the other videos for more interesting history facts.